All right, it's been a while since I've been on this beautiful program. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Hiram Figueroa. I've been on LinkedIn for quite some time. I've created a channel called LinkedIn Perspective. And the reason why I've created that is to be able to reach out to the masses for quite some time. For a lot of individuals today, just want to be able to reach out to them on Facebook and on YouTube. If you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it. Feel free to reach out to people as far as understanding the dynamics of what's going on. Today, we're going to be able to re-engage and more or less do some follow-up on quite a few things that I've been able to do these past couple of months, as I noticed that, I've been missing in action. And I've been missing in action for a number of things, for a number of reasons. And the reason being is, for one, to be able to take care of some personal business as well, and more or less to be able to, as I noticed that, I'm turning this down. So for a lot of people who haven't seen me in a while, I've been busy reinventing myself and getting things done. Also doing some contracting work, also following up on the latest and greatest on the UPS strike. But the biggest thing that I want to be able to share with you is the movie, The Sound of Freedom, the high rise of child trafficking, human trafficking, sex slavery, and especially the strike that's going on, that the potential practice strike for UPS. But needless to say, there's been quite a few other things that I've been able to follow up as well. I believe that while doing some contracting work outside, I've learned quite a few things. And I've learned that the workforce is not very kind to veterans. And the biggest thing, and I can honestly tell you, is this, is that be grateful what you have, because you don't know how good you have until you lose it. For myself, I've been more or less looking at things from a different perspective. The last couple of months, I've been working with some contractors and doing some special things. And later on down the line, I'll be able to share what I did, what I've been doing. But for the most part, it's great to see people. It's great to be able to engage with them. It's also great to be able to put back the show. Excuse my nose. Excuse me. Jesus. That's what happens when you go live, right? No commercials. So if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it, feel free to reach out to it. But the biggest thing I want to be able to re-engage is a couple of things. Quite a few things that I've learned is this. Not all veterans support veterans. Not all veteran community nonprofit organizations hire veterans. And I can honestly tell you from this point on that you need to have a reality check. And I don't know why my nose is itching. It's probably because I got to take these boys to the groomers here in a little bit. But for the most part, I've learned a lot of things about myself outside of being on social media. So I want to be presentable. So for the most part, here's the thing that's going on. I recommend you watch the movie, The Sound of Freedom. It puts a different spin on what's going on. A lot of people don't realize the United States is the top country in the whole world that's following, that's, into child pornography, human trafficking, sex slavery, taking children that have been sold and more or less been used after they've been used up to be used to be harvested for body parts, for organ donations and things like that. I believe for the most part, a lot of people don't understand the severity of it. I believe once you have an opportunity to watch the movie, The Sound of Freedom, you'll have a different perspective of what's going on, especially in your life and especially around where you live at. In today's age, human trafficking is at an all-time high. And I can honestly say, from people coming through the border to you going to the store with your wife or with your kids, you have to be paying attention to everything that's going on. For the most part, as far as the workforce is concerned, the biggest thing I can honestly tell you is this. As a veteran myself, doing some contracting work, I could tell you that society really sucks. And a lot of people really don't care if they hire you or not. And I've been fortunate to be able to work with people that know me and that really appreciate what I do. But aside from that, I feel sorry for people who are constantly looking for employment on a daily basis based on, using these apps of Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor, Monster, all these job apps that's been on there. So I can honestly tell you that it's not very good. You can suffer from a workforce trauma to a certain degree. And where can you see The Sound of Freedom? Go and look it up. Google it to the theaters. Now, mind you, it's in the public theater. It's not on Netflix or Tubi or anything like that. It's pretty much on the theaters. And if you follow some of the excerpts from, I'll say, from TikTok, some of the people that have gone to the theaters, the electricity has gone out, the air conditioning has gone out, the fire alarm has gone out, the sound has gone out, anything to deter watching this movie. If you're a parent, a grandparent, a father, a mother, you have kids, I highly recommend you pay attention to this. This is a reality that's going on a daily basis. I totally, support this movie. If you haven't really paid attention to a brother of mine from another mother who's the CEO and founder of the Veterans for Child Rescue, he's a Navy SEAL, he's a recon guy, both in the Marine Corps. He's been in, he did some CIA work. But the biggest thing is it hit home because it happened to him, and he has a purpose. And that purpose is to be able to expose pedophiles, people that are more or less trafficking children, women through countries for a high price. And it's Veterans for Child Rescue. And this, my buddy right there is Craig Sowerman Sawyer. I've tagged him with his group, his nonprofit group. And I can honestly tell you that we had a conversation not once but twice, and it happened to him. And he's been advocating this for quite some time. And I believe that for the most part, you need to pay attention because today's society, we have too much freedom on our hands. And I really believe that we need to understand the dynamics of what's going on and appreciate what we have. But at the same time, more or less to be able to expose this and have a virtual town hall. If you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it. Feel free to be able to, share your thoughts. I'll be going to the comments here for a little bit. But the biggest thing also I want to share during my journey of doing contracting work, sorry, I got OCD right now, is that, here's the reality, folks. Veterans helping veterans. We have great veterans and we have sorry-ass veterans. They overpromise and underdeliver. They write checks they can't cash. They need to stay in their lane when they say they're going to take care of veterans. My whole philosophy in this is that if a veteran is in dire need of assistance, you make it a point to reach out and do it because of the kindness of your heart and because there's a form of brotherhood or sisterhood. Not to the point where you exclude them or saying that you get back to them or you're going to do this and you're going to go do that, but you're looking for the almighty dollar to compensate for a relationship. You can't put a price on the relationship and you can't put a price on anything else as well. So my thing to you, especially, and I'm going to call this organization out, U.S. Vets. Yeah, U.S. Vets. I hope the CEO watches this. So I'm going to tell you a little story. I went out there to look for a job as U.S. Vets with my partner, right? And by all means, U.S. Vets has grant money that's given to this nonprofit organization. And I don't see anything that they are doing to hire veterans or help veterans. Yes, I'm calling you out. And why? Because I used to work for the VA. And why? Because I did a lot of nonprofits. And why? Because I've been to your job fair and you failed to hire veterans because you all have your personal preferences of taking money from entities to support yourself and staff that are not doing anything, I say it's counterproductive. Facts. So if you're affiliated with U.S. Vets, feel free to call me out. I got a lot of support. I've been there. I have quite a few buddies that went to a hiring fair with U.S. Vets and it was not successful. So if the CEO is watching this, any of the stakeholders, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to put it out there. The other thing is you had a friend of mine who had a degree in human resources. I'm not going to mention his name. You hired him for a low tier position, and then you excluded him. So this thing about U.S. vets helping veterans, I don't see that. So that's my mantra, my narrative on this. Getting back to the Sound of Freedom, it's a very heart-wrenching movie. I think you need to pay attention to it. You need to look it over and have conversations with your kids. You need to have conversations with your family members. You need to have conversations with yourself. And if you're not a Christian person, you need to be able to do that and find some kind of higher being that's going to guide you. As myself, I've been with Greg Laurie and Harvest in Riverside. We did some baptisms over there, and not only at Harvest Riverside, but also at Pirates Cove in Newport Beach. It was on the news. It was the highest baptism ever recorded. Almost 5,000 people that were baptized during that course of day. I was baptized by Greg Laurie and his son. I was very fortunate. And baptism is to just be able to do a renewal of your vows of who you believe in. I'm a Christian man by faith, and I believe that certain things need to be addressed when you do this. You got to be able to give things back to society and ask for forgiveness, because at the end of the day, when it's time for you to leave this earth, you want to leave a legacy that is very profound, and you want to have memories for others to understand that you did everything possible to give back to society. As a Christian, I decided to do that and to renew my vows as well. So I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and create this narrative just to seek popularity, because I have nothing to prove. As a matter of fact, I've done a lot of things for quite some time offline, and I figured that here is a great opportunity today in beautiful sunny Southern California, when I have my two little babies back there, Ben and Ted, when I'm going to take to the groomers, to be able to humbly explain to you how important it is to appreciate your freedom and value the kids, the most priceless commodity that you have, that you can't put a price on, and understand that people that are suffering, applying for work, they're suffering from workforce trauma. I highly recommend you get a mentor and, excuse me, my nose, and get a mentor and seek some guidance to be able to reinvent yourself. I've learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about reinventing myself. I was aligned with, and I'm still aligned with Brett Henderson, entrepreneur group, great group of veterans as well, and he's been doing some great things. And I want to give him a shout out because he reached out to me. He's one of the very few people and some other individuals that really put things out there in perspective. And one thing Brett told me was this: if you're sucking on interviews and you're not doing it, it's not, you got to look in the mirror and start looking at yourself. It's not them, it's you. The other aspect of it is the biggest thing that I can tell you that's near and dear to my heart that's been happening, that just recently happened. And my buddy Dave Bull, who's an attorney, he was down in Camp Lejeune. This is about the Mossack 3 operators that more or less were going through a general court martial, that this was going over for the last 5 years, right? And prior to that, I have a great friend of mine who wrote a book, A Few Bad Men. Fred Galvin, Major, retired USMC Force Recon, Mossack, commanding officer of Mossack 7. You should look that up. Who was a true story about subjected to war crimes in Afghanistan, to the point he was going to lose everything. And he was, as an officer, and his operators, his team of operators, were smeared and discredited for things that we signed a blank check to provide freedom for this country, because we believed that something needed to be addressed. So I recommend you look for that book, The Few Bad Men. But as far as the Mossack 3 is concerned, I have a concern, and I called the commanding general Toomey, I believe. I don't know. It starts with a T. I posted it on LinkedIn. So he's commanding officer. He's got insignia for the Mossack. He, proved himself. But how do you give a felony to 2 out of the 3 operators that are senior staff NCOs. They have outstanding merit. They've been deployed not 5 or 6, 7 to 8 times in combat situations. Purple Heart, Bronze Star, Navy Achievement Medal, Good Conduct Medal, other campaign medals. Been able to leave a team of other operators to be under their care. And because of an unfortunate circumstance, they were on trial on continuance, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 years. And now, on a technicality, because they were off base in Afghanistan, I believe, or somewhere there, where they were doing some contracting work, they were found guilty of a felony for drinking. Also, the commanding general decides to not only find them guilty on a technicality for drinking. All of us Marines drink off duty. We all do. But to save face, right, he wouldn't want to. 48 congressmen reached out to him and decided to make a decision. He decided to make an executive decision based on his own merits and his own emotions. That's the way I look at it. As I supported the Mossack 3 for the last 5 years, and I continue, these gentlemen now have a felony on their record. They have an OTH other than honorable. They've been busted down from gunnery sergeant to staff sergeant. And now, homeboy, the commanding general, right, decides to strip their insignia, their Mossack insignia, is just like a recon or a SEAL insignia, special operations, and strip them away from him. How do you do that when they've earned the right for selection? They've gone through the process. They've proved themselves. You want to bust them down because of what? To prove a point? My whole thing is I hope it goes live, and I hope he looks at this, and I hope he reaches out to me. I'd be more than happy to have this discussion. As a matter of fact, I called him out for him to be able to be on this live broadcast as commanding general of the Mossack Command in Camp Lejeune to explain to me from a commanding officer's perspective, why did he went to an extreme when these fine 3 operators were not found guilty, not once, not twice, but 4 to 5 times. But the reconvening authority decided to bring up the charges again and threaten the JAG officers that if you get them off, that you will have no career. So for him, I say, made a bad business decision based on emotion. The Marine Corps is going to shit. From boot camp to the fleet, to the operators, to the commanding officers, to the chain of command, they all suck. This highly sensitive thing. The other issue that I have is that Dave was out there in Paris Island representing a staff sergeant that's going through a general court-martial because he called this private a war hog. He didn't beat him. He didn't sexually abuse him. He didn't choke him out. He didn't take money. He called him a name. Now he's up for general court-martial on this. That's why I'm saying the Marine Corps sucks. Also, the commanding general, the commandant, left without a replacement. How do you do that? It's never happened. My beloved Marine Corps, the one I signed up 40 something plus years ago and became a drill instructor, was in the infantry, supported the special operations units from an administrative standpoint. You guys are living in a bubble. You're living in a forest, making executive decisions on human beings that have decided to stand up and fight for this country and follow orders, right? And, deal with terrorists, foreign and domestic. And what I'm come to find out is the Marine Corps is eating our own. They're taking a crap on our own. So shame on you, commanding general, with all due respect, because you earned the right to be a commanding general. I'm sure your senior staff NCOs didn't follow their protocol of what they thought they would, because I think they would affect their fitness report or their promotion or retirement. I don't know where you're going with this, but let me put it to you this way, bud. At the end of the day, when you retired, you're going to be from commanding general to Mr. So-and-so. So nobody really cares what you've done in the Marine Corps after you get out. So I hope that you get a taste of your own medicine when it comes to that. I will continue to support the guys from the Mossack 3 because I believe that it really sucks that they were found guilty on a felony on the general court martial on a technicality because he had to prove something to find and with a jury, a selected jury of officers and staff officers, staff NCOs of their own peers who don't know no crap about outside the Marine Corps. All they know what's happening inside. So at the moral of the story, what I'm sharing with you is this: pay attention, stay in your lane, don't write checks you can't cash. So let me go with the comments and to be able to share that because it's been a bit, you know. So what's up, Faye? How you doing? It's good to see you. Nice to see you as well. I can't pronounce your name. How you doing, Ingrid? Nice to see you. And hey, come out and check out my page. I'll check out your page, Dave. Not a problem. How you doing? Where can you see The Sound of Freedom? At any time in any movie theater. Check it out. You know? How you doing, Kimberly? What's up, Dave? Got to be able to check this out. Oops. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I don't know who you are. So let me put it to you this way, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I don't want to stay here too long, you know, but I can honestly tell you this. It's great to be back. It's also great to be able to share some things. The next segment I'm going to be able to do is myself and a couple other veterans and doing some entrepreneurship, helping veterans with PTSD, right? So we got a little patch there that's been able to put out there to help people with their black box of health, especially the PTSD version of it. So I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys have done. You know, if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it. The other fact is, man, I hate this. I'm OCD. The other fact is this, right? The biggest thing I could tell you, watch the movie The Sound of Freedom, right? If you really want to pay attention to what's going on in your life, I recommend watch the movie The Jesus Revolution. And The Jesus Revolution is a true story about, you know, Greg Laurie, how he founded this community called Harvest, how he was able to create baptisms, and to this day, right, as far as getting baptized here at Pirates Cove in Newport Beach, where almost 5,000 people went to get baptized. 5,000 people can't be wrong, ladies and gentlemen. They can't. I'm one of them. I was able to help and not only get baptized, but watch people get renewed. I strongly recommend that moving forward, and when we're getting close to the 2023, that you pick and choose your battles, right? And find out what you're going to be able to do. But the biggest thing I could say is this: support the people that are suffering from workforce trauma. Support the people that are really going through some stressful situations. Pay attention to your children and your areas. Keep a head on your swivel at all times, because this alarming rate of child abduction, sex slavery, human trafficking is at an all-time high. The other thing that this movie has been downplaying, that hasn't been sponsored by Hollywood, is that we have so many pedophiles and sexual offenders and predators in our own backyard, that this movie is hurting the image of the United States. Keep in mind, the United States is the #1 country in the world in child pornography, child sexual acts, human trafficking, and sex slavery. I could put that out there and call it out. Support the Veterans for Child Rescue with Craig Sorman Sawyer. If you really want to pay attention to what's going on in detail, go to YouTube and follow Sean Ryan. He has his own YouTube channel, and his interviews are long, but he's on LinkedIn. So for the most part, I just want to be able to share with that. Thank you very much. You know, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm just grateful that we were able to re-engage again. But if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it. Let your comments be known. If you want to talk about something else, feel free to do that. But I can honestly tell you this. Again, as I stated in the program, not all veterans support veterans as well. Not all nonprofit organizations take care of veterans. U.S. Vets, CEO, I hope you read this or watch this. People that are affiliated with U.S. Vets, I'm calling you all out because you're not doing anything for the veterans, period. And you're not hiring veterans that are qualified for this type of position to engage with veterans. It really blows my mind that you hire more civilians than veterans to help relate to veterans. And you want to be able to be affiliated with the VA. Only the VA does that. And I can tell you that because I was working there for 10 years. The final thing is this. The guys in the Mossack 3 that have been found guilty of a felony for drinking on duty under UCMJ as well. Shame on you, Major General. I hope you don't get caught with a DUI driving off base because you were drinking. They're going to force you to resign. And if you think that capitalizing on a situation like this with 3 operators is going to help you get promoted, good luck with that. At the end of the day, you still got to get out of the Marine Corps. At the end of the day, you're going to be from commanding general to Mr. And if you like this book, read this book, A Few Bad Men, with Fred Galvin. It's a great book, true story, how the Marine Corps has eaten our own. So with that being said, simplify, always beside you. Again, if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it, feel free. And if you want something else to be out there, feel free to, reach out to me. If you want to be a guest, show me your content. I'll be more than happy to do that. Peace out and enjoy your day. Simplify, always beside you.